As of the filing of this complaint, the harassment remains active and ongoing. On April 28th, 2026, mere days before the filing of this complaint, another unidentified caller contacted Mrs. Mayers looking to speak with Fifth or 50. Jackson's pattern of retaliation. Jackson's conduct towards Ms. Mayers fits his well documented public pattern of punishing anyone he believes crossed him. Jackson has a public Jackson has built a public persona around prolonged feud, social media attacks, and sustained campaigns against former associates. In a widely reported Instagram post, Jackson stated, anyone who chooses to go against the grain will suffer. For Miss Myers, or Myers, that was not rhetoric. It was a threat made real. Jackson demanded loyalty while asking her to come ask Jackson could demand a loyalty while asking her to commit fraud. When she refused, he terminated her. When she tried to rebuild her career, he smeared her. When she became a witness, he threatened her. When she cooperated with state authorities, he used a deposition to intimidate her. When she reported him, the calls continued. The action seeks compensatory damages for severe emotional distress and punitive damages sufficient to deter Jackson and others with similar wealth, celebrity, and power from weaponizing their resources to terrorize former employees who refuse to commit fraud or cooperate with the law enforcement. Each harassing act alleged herein constitutes a separate, independently actionable wrong and a fresh accrual under the under the continuing violation doctrine. Together, they form a single unbroken course of retaliatory conduct that began when Miss Mayers refused Jackson's illegal demands that has never stopped. The parties. Plaintiff Monique Mayers is a resident of the state of Georgia. Upon information and belief, defendant Curtis James Jackson III is a resident of the state of Texas. Defendant is a well-known rapper, actor, producer, and businessman who uses the stage name 50 Cent and is also referred to as Fifth, 50, and other variations. Defendants Defendant owns and operates multiple business entities, including G Unit Records, G Unit Touring, G Unit Film and Television, and has ownership interests in spirits companies like Sayer Spirits LLC. Jurisdiction and venue. The court has subject matter jurisdiction pursuant to 28 USC 1332A1 because there is complete diversity of citizenship between the parties and the amount of controversy substantially exceeds 75,000 exclusive of interest and costs. Plaintiff damages include past and future severe emotional distress and psychologically injury, requiring psych- psychotropic medication, inju- injury manifesting as elevated blood pressure requiring urgent care and specialist referral, lost professional income and career advancement resulting from the destruction of a Forbes profile and the circulation of false termination narrative throughout the entertainment industry that has chilled prospective employees from hiring. Unpaid severance promised on the termination call, the cost of legal counsel retained twice in connection with proceedings arising from the defendant's own business disputes, and punitive damages warranted by defendant's deliberate sustained and escalating campaign of harassment over more than 6 years. Damn. These damages, individually and in combination, substantially exceed the jurisdictional threshold. This court has personal jurisdiction over the defendant pursuant to Georgia's long arm statute and the due process clause of the 14th Amendment because defendant has sufficient minimum contacts with the state of Georgia and has purposefully allowed himself of the privilege of conducting activities within Georgia. Specifically, Georgia, specifically, defendant directed a sustained campaign of torturous harassment targeting plaintiff, a Georgia resident, by causing threatening text messages to be sent to the plaintiff's Georgia phone number, orchestrating harassing phone calls received by plaintiff at her Georgia residence, personally distributing plaintiff's Georgia phone number at public events to individuals who subsequently called plaintiff in Georgia, directing his agents to threaten the plaintiff and her family, and causing pre-dawn calls with gun violence voicemails to be delivered to the plaintiff in Georgia on August 3rd, 2024, and August 3rd, 2025. Each of these acts were purposely directed at a Georgia resident and caused harm in Georgia. Defendant knew plaintiff resident, the plaintiff knew the resident resided in Georgia. This court exercises of personal jurisdiction over the defendant and consistent with traditional notions of fair play and substantial justice. The venue is proper in this district pursuant to 28 USC 1391 B2 because of substantial part of the evidence of the events or omissions given rise to the claims occurred in this district, specifically in Douglas County, including defendant's harassment campaign directed at the plaintiff residents in Georgia and filing 2 police reports with the sheriff's office. The claims asserted herein are timely under Georgia's applicable limitations period. Each act of harassment alleged herein constitutes a separate, independently actionable tort. Defendant's campaign of harassment is a continuing violation, a single unbroken course of intentional torturous conduct that has continued without interruption from 2019 through the filing of this complaint. The most recent documented act occurred on April 28th, 2026. God damn, that's less than 2 weeks ago. With the limitations period applicable to both claims asserted herein under the continuing violation doctrine, the limitation period runs from the date of the last act in the series because the campaign has never stopped and was going on as of the filing date. All acts and the continuing pattern are actionable. And the alternative and in the alternative, even if any individual act is considered independently, the acts occurring within 2 years preceding filing are independently actionable, and the full pattern of conduct is admissible as evidence of those timely actions. Factual background: the 12 years of loyalty, 2007 to 2019. From October 2007 through March 2019, Monique Mayers served as Curtis Jackson's III's most trusted operational coordinator. And wait a minute, I just thought about something. If 50's if 50 is Curtis Jackson the third, would his father be Curtis Jackson? For him to say that he don't know who his father is, for him to be the third, when he have to, like, if you the, I'm a third, and I know who my father is, and I know who my father is. So if he's a third, how don't he know who his father is? Unless he's named after his grandfather, which I don't know if you could do that. Oh, he's named after his grandfather? Okay. Yeah, that's what I thought. That's so weird though.